The reward isn't just material. It's the deep peace and clarity that comes after enduring pain with grace and faith. It's what grows inside of you when the storm doesn't let up, and yet somehow you keep standing. It's not the car, the house, the relationship, or the promotion. Those are beautiful, and they may come. But they are not the reward, not really. The reward is what's happening inside of you right now. It's in how your heart keeps beating even after it was broken. It's in how you smile, not because life is perfect, but because you're proud you survived. You've walked through valleys no one saw. You've cried tears that only your pillow knows about. You've endured silent disappointments, setbacks, betrayals, and heartbreaks that never made it to Instagram, that didn't come with closure or understanding. And yet you kept showing up, not loudly, not with fanfare, but quietly with trembling hands and a soft whisper. I'll keep going. That quiet courage, that's the reward. That's the transformation. That's what no one can take from you. Somewhere along the way, we were taught that winning looks like gold medals and standing ovations. But what if real victory is making it through the day without bitterness? What if true success is going to bed without resentment? What if healing isn't loud or fast or flashy, but slow, sacred, and internal? You didn't endure all of this for nothing. You didn't cry those tears just to be overlooked. There's a sacred alchemy happening beneath the surface of your struggle, the waiting, the aching, the longing. It's not wasted. It's preparing you, shaping you, refining you. And more than that, it's freeing you. Because something happens when you go through pain with grace and faith. You start to release the need to control outcomes. You stop tying your worth to how others treat you. You begin to unlearn the belief that love must be earned or pain must be deserved. You start to understand that you were worthy the whole time, not because of your achievements or relationships or productivity, but because you exist. That's the clarity. That's the peace. You begin to realize that the people who left didn't define you, that the opportunities you missed weren't yours, that the rejection wasn't your identity. You stopped needing everything to make sense in order to be at peace. You just breathe. And that breath becomes the reward. It's so easy to look at someone else's life and wonder when your moment is coming. It's easy to feel like the universe forgot you, like God is blessing everyone else while you're still struggling to find your place. But here's the truth. The work God is doing in you is deeper than what the eye can see. He's not just trying to give you something. He's trying to make you into someone. Someone who doesn't need applause to feel worthy, someone who knows how to be soft without being naive, someone who walks away from chaos without guilt, someone who recognizes peace not because they've never seen war, but because they've survived it. You've survived it, and here you are, still standing, still open, still hoping. Maybe not loudly, maybe your hope is fragile, maybe your faith is tired, but it's still here. That counts, that matters, that is enough. The reward isn't in what you can hold, it's in what you can carry. Can you carry peace into a room where you were once triggered? Can you carry love into a place where you were once betrayed? Can you carry compassion for yourself when the world told you to toughen up? Can you carry joy? Not the shallow kind, but the deep, steady kind that exists even when things aren't perfect. Because if you can, you've already won. You didn't crumble. You didn't let bitterness take root. You didn't let loss define you. You felt the pain. You sat in it. You let it wash over you. You didn't numb it or outrun it. You honored it, and then you let it go. That's grace. Grace is not denying the pain. Grace is walking through it without becoming it. Grace is choosing not to lash out even when you had every right to. Grace is saying, I'll heal even if they never apologize. I'll grow even if no one notices. I'll move forward even if it means walking alone. And faith is what held you together when everything around you was falling apart. Faith is what made you whisper thank you in the middle of the storm. Faith is why you're still here, listening, hoping, breathing. Faith is knowing the reward may not look like what you imagined, but it will feel like peace. Because the most dangerous thing about pain is not that it hurts, it's that it lies. It tells you you're alone. It tells you it will never get better. It tells you this is all there is. But look at you. You've already proven it wrong. You've outlived some of your worst days. You've grown in places that once felt barren. You've loved again after loss. You've laughed again after grief. Don't tell me you're not strong. Don't tell me you're not resilient. Don't tell me you don't deserve a reward. You do. And you're living it. That freedom to love without fear, that's the reward. That ability to walk away from what doesn't serve you without guilt, that's the reward. That quiet confidence that says, I don't need to be chosen to be valuable, that's the reward. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not forgotten. You are in the middle of becoming. And becoming takes time. Some days, the becoming feels like breaking. But don't confuse the two. The caterpillar in the cocoon probably feels like it's dying. Everything familiar dissolves. Everything comfortable disappears. It's dark. It's lonely. But it's not the end. It's the beginning. What emerges isn't what went in. And that's the point. You're not meant to be who you were before the pain. You're meant to become someone wiser, softer, stronger. You're meant to walk with a limp that reminds you of what you've healed from. You're meant to be someone who understands that broken isn't the opposite of beautiful. It's a part of it. You're not just enduring, you're evolving. You're learning how to sit with discomfort without needing to fix it immediately. You're learning how to hold space for yourself the way you once did for everyone else. You're learning how to set boundaries, not to push people away, but to protect your peace. You're learning that it's not selfish to choose yourself. It's sacred. That inner stability, that calm you carry even in chaos, that's what this season has given you. And that's priceless. You may not have everything you want, but tonight take a moment to recognize what you do have. You have yourself, your strength, your growth, your story, your voice, your intuition, your healing, your boundaries, your forgiveness, your wisdom. You have scars that no longer sting. You have questions that no longer torment you. You have space in your heart where bitterness used to live. That is reward. And if material blessings come, and they will, you'll receive them not out of desperation, but with gratitude. You'll know that they are not your identity, not your source, not your proof of worth. They are just the cherry on top of a life built with integrity, truth, and grace. Because what good is the world if you lose your soul to get it? You didn't lose your soul, you didn't lose your tenderness, you didn't let the world harden you. That is the miracle. And that miracle, that's what God celebrates. So don't wait for the applause. Don't wait for the outcome. Celebrate now. Celebrate who you've become. Celebrate the days you kept going. Celebrate the nights you didn't give up. Celebrate the fact that pain didn't make you cruel. Celebrate the fact that you're still loving, still trying, still believing. You are the reward. The healed you, the softer you, the stronger you, the wiser you. No one else gets to define what that reward should look like. It's already happening in your heart, in your mind, in your spirit. And the more you lean into it, the more it grows. Peace multiplies. Clarity deepens. Joy expands. So take a breath. Exhale the pressure. Let go of the timelines. And remember this. The reward isn't just material. It's the deep peace and clarity that comes after enduring pain with grace and faith. And that reward, beloved, is already yours. There's something sacred about the moment when time meets intention. You feel it not in your mind, but in your spirit. It's not loud. It doesn't announce itself with lightning or fanfare. It arrives quietly, yet it carries the weight of heaven. Tonight is not just another hour ticking by on the clock. It's not just another date on a calendar that feels like it's been teasing you with promises that never materialized. Tonight is holy, it's set apart, it's divine, because God does not work by accident, coincidence, or delay. He works with deliberateness. And if He whispered into your heart that your reward would arrive tonight, then you can trust that the wait was never wasted. For so long, it probably felt like nothing was happening, like your prayers hit the ceiling and fell back down in silence. You've walked through days where you gave your best only to receive silence in return. Nights where your tears soaked the pillow and you still showed up the next day with a heart open to love, open to serve, open to hope. That wasn't weakness, that was strength. That was faith in motion. And God saw it all. He was not blind to your perseverance, your inner war between hope and doubt, or the way you stayed tender even when it hurt. See, when we talk about God's timing, we often speak of it as something mysterious, almost elusive. But it's not random. It's not whimsical. It is intentional. It is measured with divine precision. It is rooted in love so deep that it waits until your character is fortified enough to carry the blessing, not just taste it. Because some rewards come wrapped in responsibility, and if we're not ready, they become burdens instead of blessings. God doesn't just prepare the reward for you, He prepares you for the reward. That's why some doors didn't open. That's why certain relationships ended. That's why the waiting was long, because He wasn't just putting things together on the outside. He was transforming you from within. He was shaping your heart to recognize what you deserve. He was refining your identity so that when the gift arrived, you wouldn't question whether you're worthy of it. You'd know. You'd stand in it with quiet confidence, not arrogance, but with the peace that says, I didn't manipulate this. I didn't hustle for it. I healed for it. I waited. I trusted. I surrendered. And that surrender, that was everything. It's what changed the game. Because let's be honest, waiting on God is one of the most vulnerable things we'll ever do. It strips us down. It removes control. It challenges the part of us that wants certainty and clarity now. It makes us wrestle with ourselves, with doubt, with silence. But in that vulnerability, something deeper grows. Resilience, trust, and spiritual maturity. You stop needing all the answers and start needing only His presence. You stop asking when and start saying, I'm ready whenever you are. You stop proving your worth and start believing that being loved by God is enough, even when life doesn't look like you imagine. But tonight is different. It's not a continuation of the waiting, it's a shift. It's a moment marked by heaven as a transition from preparation to manifestation. You don't have to understand the logistics. You don't have to predict how it will unfold. All you need to know is that God is a keeper of His word. And when He says you will be rewarded, it's not a metaphor. It's a promise. The reward. Oh, the reward. It's not just external. It's not just about a promotion, a relationship, a breakthrough in your finances, or an opportunity. It's that too, but it's more. It's the internal reward, the peace that surpasses understanding, the joy that bubbles up from a place deeper than circumstance, The clarity that comes when your spirit finally aligns with truth. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be. There are people who will never understand the depths of your journey. They'll see the blessing, but never know the crushing. They'll notice the elevation, but not the wilderness. But you know. You've lived every chapter. You've felt every ache. You've cried every tear. And that's why this reward is so sacred. It was custom made for your journey. It fits your soul like a tailored garment because it was designed in heaven with your name on it. But tonight, as you exhale, allow yourself to feel the release. Not because everything is perfect or complete, but because you've crossed a line in the Spirit. You've walked faithfully, and now the oil is about to flow. Not as a reward for perfection, but as a confirmation that grace covers even the flawed parts of your story. You will not have to chase what's meant for you. It will find you because it knows you've been faithful with little. Now, God says it's time for more. Now, if you feel afraid, if you feel that old voice creeping in, whispering, is this too good to be true? Be gentle with yourself. That fear doesn't mean you lack faith. It means you're human. It means the pain of the past left an imprint. But it's not the author of your future. You can feel the fear and still move forward. You can feel unworthy and still receive what's yours. You don't have to fix every broken belief to experience God's goodness. Sometimes His goodness is what breaks the lie altogether. You've reached a turning point. You're not the same person who entered the storm. You've been transformed. Your reward tonight is not just for enduring, it's for becoming more honest, becoming more compassionate, becoming more aligned with your purpose, becoming more willing to live your life from a place of love rather than fear. That's the real miracle. That's what divine timing protects and produces. If the reward had come earlier, you might have settled. You might have mishandled it. You might have given credit to something or someone other than God. But now you're ready, because now you know that nothing external can complete you. It can complement you, support you, but not complete you. Only God can do that. And that's what He's been doing in the waiting, completing the parts of you that the world tried to fracture, restoring your heart, anchoring your hope, teaching you to trust again, not blindly but boldly. The night is not ordinary. It is marked. It is sacred. It carries the fragrance of fulfillment. And as you stand in this moment, don't rush it. Don't minimize it. Don't doubt it. Let it sink in. Let it wrap around your soul like a blanket. God is faithful, not just in theory, not just for others, for you, for right now, for tonight. And when the reward comes, whether it's a conversation that shifts everything, an opportunity you didn't see coming, a door that finally opens, or just an overwhelming peace that tells you something has shifted, don't question it, receive it. Let it remind you that your story is still being written by hands that know no error. Let it be the evidence that the waiting wasn't empty, it was working. Tonight is divine. It is drenched in intention. You don't have to strive, you don't have to beg, you just have to receive with a heart that remembers. This didn't happen to you, it happened for you, and the one who authored this moment, He's not done. This is just the beginning of a new chapter, one marked by trust, alignment, and glory. The reward is not random. It is sacred, and it is here. You didn't get here by accident. And even if the path was winding, confusing, and marked by silence, you're standing on sacred ground now. Not because of what you have, but because of who you've become. That's the real miracle. That's the quiet transformation no one else may notice, but heaven has watched unfold with awe. Because while you were praying for breakthrough, for the doors to open, for the pain to end, something even more powerful was happening inside of you. you were becoming resilient, becoming grounded, becoming open, becoming aligned with something far greater than your original expectations. There's a beauty in the waiting that can't be rushed. At first, it doesn't feel like beauty. It feels like ache, like loss, like longing that doesn't resolve. But as the waiting stretches out and time moves forward, something begins to shift. Not outside, but within. You stop holding your breath. You stop bargaining with time. You stop measuring your worth by how quickly things come together. And instead, you start listening. You start paying attention. You start realizing that the waiting room isn't a punishment, it's preparation. Most people think the miracle is the answer. The job, the partner, the healing, the clarity. But the real miracle is subtler. It's the way your heart stayed soft after being broken. It's the way you leaned into your questions instead of hiding behind quick answers. It's the way you learned to stay fully present even in the absence of resolution. That is holy work. That is soul deep work. And that kind of transformation doesn't shout. It doesn't show up in headlines or applause. It shows up in the stillness of your spirit, in the way you begin to carry yourself, and the softness you bring into a hardened world. Waiting strips you down to what's real. It reveals every illusion you once depended on for control, your timelines, your expectations, your plans, and invites you to surrender them. And in that surrender, you find something deeper. Trust. Not naive optimism, not toxic positivity, but real rooted trust that says, even when I don't see it, I believe something sacred is unfolding. That trust becomes your anchor, not because it protects you from all pain, but because it gives pain a purpose. It allows you to sit in discomfort without collapsing. It gives you the stamina to face another day, not with a fake smile, but with a heart that says, I'm still here. I'm still open. There's nothing passive about waiting. People often mistake it for weakness, for doing nothing. But anyone who's truly waited knows otherwise. Waiting is active. It's choosing every day not to give up. It's making the decision to keep showing up emotionally, spiritually, mentally, when you have every excuse not to. It's being honest with your emotions without being defined by them. It's holding space for hope while letting go of how you thought it would all look. That kind of waiting builds muscle you never knew you had. It shapes your spirit in ways that comfort never could. And that's why who you've become matters so much. Because when the blessing comes, it won't define you. You won't need it to validate you. You'll already know who you are. You'll already be grounded in truth. You'll already be connected to something bigger than the blessing itself. That's what divine timing is all about. It's not just about what you receive, but who you've become in the process of receiving it. It's about arriving at the promise with integrity, with humility, with gratitude, with depth. It's easy to glamorize the outcome, to focus on the moment the prayers are answered, the doors swing open, and everything finally makes sense. But that moment, as beautiful as it is only one part of the story. The deeper story is the one that happened in the shadows, in the nights no one saw, in the choices you made when you were tired, discouraged, uncertain. That's where your character was formed. That's where your spirit expanded. That's where your identity became more than what you do or what you have. It became rooted in who you are, whole, beloved, evolving. There were times you probably wanted to quit. Times when the silence felt cruel, when comparison crept in like a thief and whispered lies into your ear, when it seemed like everyone else was moving forward and you were stuck, but you kept going. You stayed. You felt it all and didn't let it destroy you. That's courage. That's resilience. That's faith lived out in real time. And now something has shifted. Maybe the answers haven't arrived yet. Maybe you still don't know what's next. But you know something else now, something more important. You know how to wait without losing yourself. You know how to hope without demanding. You know how to receive whatever comes next with open hands rather than clenched fists. That's not just personal growth. That's spiritual maturity. That's alignment with something eternal. Because life doesn't unfold in a straight line. It loops, it stretches, it pauses. And the pauses, the waits aren't empty. They're where transformation happens, where you stop running and start listening, where the noise dies down enough for you to hear the voice of wisdom that's always been inside you. That voice tells you, you're okay even now. You're whole even in this. You're loved even when nothing makes sense. What's waiting for you on the other side of this season isn't just a reward, it's a reflection. It's a mirror showing you all the ways you've grown. And it will feel right, not because it's easy, but because it fits. It matches the strength, the softness, the wisdom you've cultivated. You won't have to chase it or convince anyone. It will feel like confirmation, a divine echo of what your soul already knew, that the waiting wasn't punishment, it was alignment, it was mercy, it was love. People may only see the visible outcome. They'll congratulate you for the job, the relationship, the breakthrough, but you'll know the deeper truth. You'll know that the real victory was inside. That the real miracle wasn't the thing itself. It was the version of you that emerged in the process. The version that knows how to sit in silence without panic. The version that isn't addicted to immediate gratification. That's the version that chose timing more than manipulation. That is priceless. That is rare. That is holy. So if you're still waiting, hold on, not because waiting is easy, but because it's meaningful. Because you're not being punished, you're being prepared, you're not being delayed, you're being developed. And if you've just come out of the waiting, take a moment to honor what you've been through. Let yourself grieve what didn't happen. Let yourself celebrate what did. Let yourself recognize that who you are now is not who you were then. And that's the point. Did I take a breath? Not a shallow one, but a deep soul-fulfilled inhale that says, I've come a long way, because you have. Not just physically, not just emotionally, but spiritually. You are no longer trying to control the narrative. You are surrendering to the unfolding of it. And in that surrender, you are discovering something more powerful than control. You are discovering trust. And that trust isn't blind, it's not naive, it's rooted in the experiences that shaped you. It's rooted in the storms you survived, the questions you carried, the faith you clung to when it felt invisible. It's rooted in the moments you chose to believe, even with trembling hands, that something bigger than you was holding it all together. That kind of trust can't be taught, it has to be lived. And you have lived it. So here you are, resilient, grounded, open and aligned, not because everything went according to plan, but because you allowed the detours to teach you, because you let the heartbreak soften you, not harden you, because you chose presence over performance, vulnerability over perfection, faith over fear, and that is what makes this moment sacred. This is not just the end of a waiting season, it's the beginning of a new way of being. A way that no longer needs everything to make sense before moving forward. A way that honors process over perfection. A way that knows your worth isn't tied to productivity, popularity, or timelines. Your worth is anchored in something deeper, something eternal. You have become someone who can carry light in the dark, who can hold space for uncertainty, who can breathe through the tension of the now and the not yet. And that's what makes you powerful. Not just what you do, but who you are in the waiting. You're the miracle. You're the reward. You're the testimony of what happens when faith and patience collide with grace. And the world needs more of that. Not just people who can succeed, but people who can stay grounded. Not just people who can achieve, but people who can wait well. Not just people who are strong, but people who are soft and unafraid of being seen, who So don't rush past this moment. Don't diminish what it took to become this version of you. You paid a price. Not everyone will understand it, but you do. You know the journey. You know the growth. And that knowing, that's the real gift. That's the miracle that no one can take away from you. You've become more than someone who waits. You've become someone who believes while waiting, someone who grows in the silence, someone who rises with grace. And that right there, that is what alignment looks like. That is what divine timing produces. What is it? Would you like a YouTube description, SEO summary, or hashtags for this speech?